The world just lost one of the most important leaders of the 20th century. While he wasn't always the most beloved president throughout his tenure in office, primarily because of his polarizing liberal policies, he managed to accomplish quite a bit, both during his presidency and in the years since he lost his bid for re-election in 1980. Since leaving office, Carter lived an exemplary life in the public eye. In the 42 years since he passed the presidential torch along to his successor, Ronald Reagan, he worked tirelessly to promote and expand human rights through the Carter Center, which he established in 1982. In 2002, he was honored with the Nobel Peace Prize for his work with the organization he co-founded with his wife, Rosalind. Carter also traveled rather extensively to do things like conducting peace negotiations, monitoring international elections, and developing programs to prevent and eradicate diseases in developing nations. He was known as a great humanitarian, and while he experienced a few failures throughout his political career, he'll be remembered best for his list of accomplishments. Carter's image significantly improved in the years since leaving the Oval Office. In retrospect, his policies during his presidency are now being viewed in a much more positive light. Join us as we honor the life and accomplishments of the 39th President of the United States, Jimmy Carter. Regardless of what political party or ideologies you might subscribe to, he was a man that deserves our respect. Jimmy Carter's early life. Born James Earl Carter on October 1, 1924, in Plains, Georgia, to Bessie Lillian and James Earl Carter Sr., Jimmy hailed from English heritage. At the time of his birth, Plains had a population of about 600 people. His dad was a rather successful and influential local businessman who owned and operated a general store in addition to investing in farmland. When he was still a child, Carter's family moved several times before finally settling on a dirt road in the nearby town of Archery, Georgia, a community that was nearly entirely populated by poor African-American families. Jimmy's parents had 3 other children, Gloria, Billy, and Ruth. He got along well with his siblings and parents, even though his mother was often absent from his life during his formative years since she had to work long hours. Although Jimmy's father was adamantly in favor of segregation, he still allowed his son to become friends with the black farmhand kids. Connecting with these children had a tremendously positive impact on Carter's early worldview. Jimmy attended Plains High School and graduated in 1941. At that point, Plains and Archery had become adversely affected by the Great Depression, but his family received farming subsidies from the New Deal that helped them keep their heads above water. Jimmy was an impeccable student who was fond of reading. He did, however, apparently have a truancy problem, according to reports in a local newspaper. But despite that, he still managed to score high marks academically. During his adolescence, Jimmy played basketball for his high school team in addition to joining the Future Farmers of America, the latter of which helped him to develop an interest in woodworking that he maintained throughout his life. In 1941, Carter began undergraduate studies in engineering at Georgia Southwestern College. A year later, he transferred to the Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta. In 1943, he was admitted into the U.S. Naval Academy. Even though he was a diligent student, his peers and instructors saw him as quiet and reserved compared to the rest of the Academy's notoriously aggressive culture. While he was enrolled at the Academy, Jimmy met the love of his life, Rosalind Smith, who was friends with his sister Ruth. After a brief courtship, the duo got married not long after his graduation in 1946. Carter graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree and received a commission as an ensign. Jimmy's early political career. In the Navy, Carter served as a submariner in the Atlantic and Pacific fleets. He quickly rose the ranks to lieutenant. After being selected by Admiral Hyman Rickover for a nuclear sub-program, he was reassigned to Schenectady, New York. While there, he took graduate courses at Union College, in which he studied nuclear physics and reactor tech. He also served as a senior officer for the pre-commissioning crew of the second U.S. nuclear submarine, the Seawolf. In 1953, his father passed away, after which he resigned his commission and returned home to his family in Georgia. He then took over the family farms. He and his wife ran Carter's Warehouse, a seed and farm supply company based out of Plains. He soon became a community leader. He was given the opportunity to serve on county boards that supervised things like education, the hospital system, and the local library. In 1962, he was elected to the Georgia Senate. 4 years later, he ran for governor of Georgia, but lost his campaign. He then ran again during the next election, and this time he won, becoming Georgia's 76th governor in 1971. In 1974, Carter was the Democratic National Committee's campaign chairman for that year's congressional and gubernatorial elections. Jimmy's presidency. On December 12, 1974, Jimmy Carter announced his run for the presidency of the United States. He ended up winning the Democratic Party's nomination at the 1976 Democratic National Convention and was elected as 39th president on November 2, 1976. Carter served as president from January 20, 1977 to January 20, 1981. Some of his most noteworthy foreign policy achievements during his tenure included the Panama Canal Treaties, the Treaty of Peace between Israel and Egypt, the Camp David Accords, establishing diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China, and the SALT II Treaty with the USSR. In addition to those accomplishments, his administration also focused heavily on advancing human rights throughout the globe. Domestically, his achievements included developing a comprehensive energy program with the Department of Energy, deregulating communications, energy, transportation, and finance, introducing several programs under the newly implemented Department of Education, and instituting groundbreaking environmental protection measures. Jimmy's post-presidency career. Carter authored 32 books, ranging from poetry to political memoirs. Some of his most notable works include 2001's An Hour Before Daylight, 1975's Why Not the Best, and 2018's Faith, A Journey for All. In 1982, he became University Distinguished Professor at Emory in Atlanta. He then co-founded the Carter Center with his wife and former First Lady Rosalind. The nonprofit and nonpartisan center's mission continues to be addressing national and international issues pertaining to public policy. The center, with the former president as its guide, spearheaded programs to resolve conflicts, protect and promote human rights, advance democracy, and prevent diseases. That work is still being done, though Jimmy sadly is no longer with us. For decades, Jimmy and his wife volunteered for 1 week out of the year for Habitat for Humanity, a charitable organization that helps people in need both in the U.S. and worldwide to build and renovate homes. Since 2007 until his death, he served as a board member of a group of independent world leaders known as the Elders. He also taught Sunday school and served as a deacon at his congregation in Plains, Georgia, Maranatha Baptist Church. Carter had a deep commitment to Christianity ever since he was young. During his presidency, he prayed multiple times a day and believed that Jesus was the predominant driving force in his life. In 2007, Carter and fellow former President Bill Clinton founded the New Baptist Covenant, an organization that promotes social justice. In his free time, Carter enjoyed activities like swimming, fly fishing, and woodworking. He and Rosalind had 4 children, 3 sons and a daughter. They likewise had 9 grandsons, 3 granddaughters, and 13 great-grandchildren. On December 10, 2002, Carter was awarded the prestigious Nobel Peace Prize. Before his passing, Carter was the oldest living president. He was also the longest living president in U.S. history. Additionally, he was the longest married president, as he and his wife Rosalind had been together for 75 years. Jimmy's declining health and death. On August 3, 2015, Jimmy underwent surgery to remove a mass from his liver. 9 days later, he announced he had been diagnosed with cancer. On August 20th, he revealed doctors had found melanoma in his brain and liver, and he began receiving immunotherapy treatment and radiation. On December 6th of that year, he disclosed his medical scans indicated he no longer showed any signs of cancer. In May 2019, Carter broke his hip after taking a fall at his home in Plains, Georgia. He then had surgery. On October 6, 2019, Jimmy had another fall that resulted in a forehead injury that required 14 stitches. Less than 2 weeks later, he sustained a minor pelvic fracture after falling once again at home. A month later, he had to be hospitalized to have a procedure to relieve pressure on his brain that was brought on by his 3 previous falls. The surgery was a success. On December 2, 2019, he was once again admitted to the hospital with a UTI, but was released 2 days later. Now it's time to hear from you. What are your fondest memories of President Carter? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to FactsVerse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.